I want to be on the wheels up the minute regulations allow.
Yes, sir.
Here's the rest of what we owe you.
Thank you very much.
Back in '95, this flick kicks off with a Russian mafia crew making moves in the Riviera, wiping out the local mafia to take charge. Leading the pack is Kov, ex-special forces turned ruthless mob boss. He recruits a young gal, Anna, forced into a tough spot. Fast forward 15 years, Anna's done with the crime life, fueled by revenge. Alongside her crew, they cook up a plan to pay back Kov for all the crap he put them through. At the same time, some guy's trying to jack a fancy car in a lot. Little did they know, it's owned by Frank, this famous courier. Lucky for Frank, he rigged his ride to be controlled by his phone, messing with the thieves' heads. Frank tries to brush them off initially, gotta pick someone up quick. But these guys come at him, and with his special forces background, he defends himself pretty brutally. After swiftly dealing with the robbers, Frank rushed to pick up his client, who turned out to be none other than his recently retired dad, Martin. Martin, a former top-secret agent in England, enjoyed a comfortable pension. During their ride home, Martin expressed a desire to get closer to his son, recognizing that both had been absorbed in their hectic professions. Meanwhile, in a hotel room, a woman named Cho was with her client Turin, who happened to be Kov's accountant and trusted associate. Turian and his crew were eager for some action with Cho, but she mentioned that her friend Jana was on her way. Upon Jana's arrival, she shot Turian and his gang. It turned out that Jana and Cho were friends of Anna and had their own score to settle with Kov. Having dealt with Turin and his crew, Jana and Cho efficiently cleaned up the scene, even discovering another woman's body. To divert suspicion, Cho placed a necklace with the Kov's organization symbol around her neck. They also obtained a locker key from Turan and meticulously eliminated any traces by burning all the bodies in the room. While Frank and his dad shared a meal and discussed their jobs, Frank received a call from an unknown woman asking him to be her driver. At the same time, Kosov was enjoying a cruise with his friends Liowski and Yurov, who had aided him in taking control of the Riviera area. Learning of Turin's demise, Kosov and his assistant Ma decided to investigate at the police station. However, the police, suspecting Kosov's involvement, prompted him to assert his power. Simultaneously, Frank met his new client at a restaurant, who turned out to be Anna. Following Frank's rule of not exchanging names immediately, Anna entrusted him with the task of delivering 2 packages totaling 104 kilos. She clarified that Frank's role was solely to ensure her safety during the journey, providing upfront money as a guarantee. Frank, after preparing his best car, had to break the news to his dad that their dinner plans were cancelled due to a delivery commitment. About 3 hours later, Frank arrived at a bank to pick up Anna, who disguised herself with a wig. She convinced Jana and Cho to join them in Frank's car. Initially hesitant when realizing the packages were 2 people, Frank faced a gun from Gina, who showed him a video of Martin held captive. Unbeknownst to Frank, Maria was collaborating with Anna's crew. Simultaneously, the police grew suspicious of Frank and the gang, prompting Frank to act swiftly to extricate Anna and her allies from the situation. With Frank showcasing his remarkable driving prowess, he deftly outwitted the pursuing police, orchestrating a collision that forced them to call for backup on motorcycles. Undeterred, the police attempted to navigate past the obstructed cars. However, Frank, displaying keen driving instincts, strategically led them to a junction where he ingeniously tampered with a water pipe, transforming the road into a slippery terrain. This resulted in a series of skids and crashes, enabling Frank and his crew to skillfully evade their pursuers. Following their successful escape, Frank, demonstrating his resourcefulness, opted to switch to an alternative car. In a bid to eliminate any potential evidence, including his fingerprints, he made the strategic decision to detonate the old vehicle. Simultaneously, Kosov experienced mounting anxiety as he uncovered the disappearance of his prized possessions and confidential documents. It didn't take long for him to connect the dots, realizing that Anna had masterminded Turin's murder from the outset. Their elaborate plan aimed at acquiring the bank locker key and accessing Kosov's funds. However, unbeknownst to Kosov, Anna remained the covert orchestrator behind the scenes. In a quest to unveil the culprits, Kosov instructed Ma to round up all the women within his organization. Through a meticulous examination, it became glaringly apparent that 4 individuals were conspicuously absent: Anna and her 3 accomplices. In a nutshell, Frank successfully delivered Anna and her friends to their hideout. However, a twist emerged as Anna revealed that Martin had been poisoned by Maria. To secure the antidote, Frank had to agree to another mission: robbing Kosov's club. This involved stealing an anesthetic gas from the hospital, with Frank and Anna posing as a doctor and a patient. During the mission, Anna disclosed her past under Keese's control since the age of 12. Frank, having known Kisa from their time in the Special Forces, wasn't surprised by his behavior. They managed to acquire the gas, with Frank discreetly incapacitating a suspicious duty doctor. Meanwhile, at Kosov's headquarters, Martin attempted to connect with Gina, but their intimate moment was interrupted by Joe, pulling Gina away for their ongoing robbery mission. Outside the base, Maria was busy recruiting thugs, offering an irresistible fee of $1,000. Adding to the complexity, Maria found herself unwittingly flirting with a man who appeared to be a pilot, only to discover, to her surprise, that he was Yurov's private pilot. Seizing the opportunity, she had him at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Kov attempted to seek Yurov's assistance, leading Yurov to promptly instruct his men to contact his private pilot, much to Maria's shock, as the man she had charmed turned out to be that very pilot. Back with Frank, he returned to pick up Anna, Cho, and Gina, all prepared with disguises, including wings, for their revenge mission at Kov's club. Upon arrival, Frank skillfully dealt with the club's bouncer, granting them access. Frank's task was to set up a gas cylinder stolen from the hospital, but he faced a hurdle when caught by one of Kov's men. In a fierce encounter, Frank fought until the opponent passed out. Surprisingly, more of Kisa's men emerged, requiring Frank to spring into action, taking down 3 simultaneously. Simultaneously, Anna and her friends initiated the release of the gas Frank had installed, putting everyone in the club to sleep. As this unfolded, Kisa's guards started to converge, surrounding Frank. Undeterred, Frank, always up for a challenge, effortlessly took them on. His impressive fighting skills enabled him to swiftly deal with the entire opposition. While Anna and her friends were immersed in hacking Lowski's computer after he succumbed to the anesthetic gas, Anna skillfully transferred all the money from his account. Once their digital heist was complete, Frank, Anna, and her friends geared up for their exit. However, their plans took an unexpected turn as they were ambushed by numerous gangsters dispatched by Kirov. Unfazed, Frank opted to confront the gangsters head-on instead of retreating. In a display of remarkable prowess, he effortlessly defeated all the adversaries, ensuring the success of their mission to rob the place. The following day, Maria and Martin, disguised as a pilot and flight attendant, seamlessly took the roles of Yurov's private pilot and attendant. Initially skeptical of the sudden change, Yurov contacted his original pilot to inquire. However, Maria's hired man had already taken the pilot captive, compelling him to feign illness and granting Martin permission from Yurov. Once lured into the trap, Maria drugged Yurov with a drink laced with sleeping medicine. Exploiting Yurov's fingerprint, she unlocked his cell phone and accessed the password. With Yurov now safely incapacitated, her hired men proceeded to retrieve items from the safe. Simultaneously, on another front, Martin incapacitated his co-pilot, preventing the plane from taking off. Unfortunately, the co-pilot's mishap accidentally triggered a lever, setting the plane in motion. Maria and Martin found themselves dealing not only with Yurov's men but also airport security officers who surrounded them. Fortunately, Frank arrived just in the nick of time, showcasing his exceptional driving skills to rescue them. Sadly, Maria was shot by Yurov's men and was bleeding profusely. Determined to expedite their escape, Frank took a shortcut, aiming for the airport corridor closest to the exit. Upon reaching headquarters, Anna and her 2 friends urgently searched for a way to rescue Maria. Seeking assistance, they approached Frank and Martin. However, Frank initially refused to help unless Anna provided an antidote for his father. Eventually, Anna admitted to deceiving Frank by falsely claiming she had poisoned Martin to secure his assistance. Realizing this, Frank decided to aid Anna in saving Maria. Luckily, Martin's past experience as a secret agent proved invaluable in saving Maria's life. Once the chaos subsided, Anna apologized to Frank for her actions, including kidnapping Martin and fabricating the poison claim. As a gesture of remorse, Anna invited Frank to share an intimate moment, which he accepted. Meanwhile, Kosov, Yurov, and Liowski were left perplexed as their belongings had been pilfered by the same culprits. After thorough investigation, Lamsky uncovered that the thieves were prostitutes working for Kosov, and notably, Frank, who happened to be Kosov's friend. Upon learning this, Kosov vehemently denied any involvement in the robbery, expressing a strong determination to apprehend the culprits. Simultaneously, Frank and Anna, having concluded their intimate moment, delved into Anna's childhood story. She disclosed how she had been enslaved and mistreated by Kosov. Once helpless, she was now resolute in seeking revenge on him. Later, as Frank and Martin prepared to head home, Anna and her friends intended to continue their mission independently. During the journey, Frank mentioned his plan to take his father home and then go to Paris until the issue was resolved. However, Martin disagreed, urging Frank to confront Kosov directly like a true man if he was after him. Unfortunately, Martin couldn't persuade Frank to alter his decision, prompting him to leave for Paris after dropping off Martin. Shortly after, Frank received a call from Kosov, revealing that he had kidnapped Martin. Kosov offered to release Martin if Frank handed over Anna and her friends. Without hesitation, Frank returned and sought Anna's assistance. Feeling a sense of indebtedness to Martin, Anna agreed to assist Frank. However, Gina opted out of the mission, having returned to her family's home. In summary, they headed to Kosov's place to surrender. Upon arrival, Kosov welcomed them, particularly Frank, his former close friend. The source of their strained relationship came to light. During their military service, Kosov prioritized making money and betrayed his comrades, while Frank remained an honest soldier. Since then, they had found themselves on opposing sides. To expedite the process, Frank handed over a secret document stolen by Anna at the story's outset. As agreed, Martin would be released. Shortly after, Liowski and Yurov arrived on the scene. Anna, seizing an opportunity, played them against each other, pretending to be the person ordered by Kosov to rob them. She claimed to be tasked with stealing from Liowski and Yurov, creating a standoff among the Russian mafia members as they pointed their weapons at each other. Liowski demanded that Kosov reveal his account balance, and if it had significantly increased, it would serve as proof that he was behind the robbery. Meanwhile, Gina sneaked onto the submerged ship and transferred all the stolen money to Kosov's account, causing a substantial balance increase. The situation escalated as Liowski and Yurov's anger grew, with Kosov unable to explain, resulting in a loss of control and gunfire that enveloped everyone, including Liowski and Yurov. Amidst the chaos, Gina efficiently moved all of Kosov's money into Anna's account. Unfortunately, Mesa discovered Jana's actions and shot her in the waist. Undeterred, Gina swiftly rose, taking down Mesa. Meanwhile, Frank relentlessly beat Kosov's men, and despite his age, Martin joined the fray, showcasing fighting skills comparable to typical secret agents. In the midst of the intense confrontation, Martin noticed Gina lying on the floor, her life slipping away due to blood loss. Unfortunately, Jana, Cho, and Maria had also fallen victim to Kosov's brutality and couldn't be saved. The sole survivor was Anna, whom Kosov forcibly took away. Frank, attempting to rescue Anna, had to confront Kosov's men first. After defeating them, he pursued Kosov onto land, leading to a fierce battle on the cliff's edge. Frank relentlessly attacked Kosov but found himself overpowered, on the brink of death. Fortunately, Anna intervened, shooting Kosov and causing him to fall into the ocean, meeting his demise. In a twist of events, Anna found herself contemplating whether to end Frank's life, fearing he might become a traitor and expose her crimes. Despite Anna's hesitation, Frank reassured her, expressing genuine concern and compassion, unwilling to see her imprisoned, even after the numerous times she had deceived him. The subsequent day, police detectives summoned Martin to provide his testimony. As a responsible father, Martin opted to implicate only Kosov as the primary criminal in the case, choosing not to involve Frank. A month later, Anna made a thoughtful decision to distribute the money obtained from the robbery. The beneficiaries included the families of her friends, as well as Frank and Martin. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.